New Norm is brought to you by Winning at Home. I'm Steve Norman. Welcome to the New Norm. I was talking with a friend not long ago, and they mentioned a scenario where they overheard a husband say to a wife, "You know, hon, you really need to work harder on being a Proverbs 31 woman." And that one turned me a little sideways because it didn't feel like an encouragement. It felt like a bludgeoning, like a shaming, like a manipulating a spouse into reaching a bar that was higher than one that they had settled for. Make no mistake, Proverbs 31 paints a really beautiful picture of what an honorable woman can look like. And if you haven't read it in a while, I'll read it for you now. This is Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. It says, "A wife of noble character, who can find? She's worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She's like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it, and out of her earnings she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She's clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchants with sashes. She's clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and a faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, he says, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate." It's high praise. This is a woman who's got high capacity in business. She's highly intelligent relationally. She oversees her family well. She's connected to the community. She's serving the poor and the marginalized. She's just a rock star through and through. And yes, it's a great model for what a mature and godly woman can look like. But I think a lot of pressure has been put on women to hit this standard, often by men who haven't necessarily been honest or candid or vulnerable about the standard to which God calls them. So just for fun, let's ask this question. What does a Proverbs 31 man look like? Because there are, in fact, a couple of references to this woman's husband and what is true about him. We learn this. We learn that this woman has a husband who is at the city gate. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But before we do, know that there's some other examples about the kind of man that is respected by his peers at the city gate, which would have been kind of the epicenter for commerce and religious and civic leadership. Like guys who gathered at the city gate were competent, excellent people of high character and biblical wisdom. Boaz in Ruth 4 is a guy who conducted business at the city gate. Abraham conducted business in the city gate. That's recorded in Genesis chapter 23. Job was respected at the city gate. We read that in Job chapter 29. So what are the 5 characteristics of a Proverbs 31 man? The first one is this: he respects his wife. Verse 11 says he has full confidence in her. So Proverbs 31 man is somebody who views his spouse as somebody who is credible and competent. If you know a guy who's trying to shame his wife into being somebody better than what she is, he's not modeling the kind of character that is celebrated of a Proverbs 31 man. He's got full confidence in his wife. Second, he acts like an elder. He is respected at the city gate, like we just mentioned. City gate is where the elders and the leaders met to conduct business and dispense justice. It's where the elders gathered. Now, elder isn't necessarily somebody who is old, but it's somebody who is wise and who is mature and who is kind. So, if the kind of men that are married to Proverbs 31 women are elder caliber men, what do we know about the biblical qualifications for an elder or an overseer? Well, in order to learn that, we've got to jump to the New Testament and see what standard the Apostle Paul lays down for an elder. We read this in Titus chapter 1, verses 5 through 9. The reason I left you in Crete was so that you might put in order what was left unfinished and appoint elders in every town as I directed you. An elder must be blameless, faithful to his wife, a man whose children believe and are not open to the charge of being wild and disobedient. Since an overseer manages God's household, he must be blameless, not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given to drunkenness, not violent, not pursuing dishonest gain. Rather, he must be hospitable, one who loves what is good, who is self-controlled, upright, holy, and disciplined. He must hold firmly to the trustworthy message as it has been taught, so that he can encourage others by sound doctrine and refuse those who oppose it. There's a long list of qualifications, but basically they fit into two buckets. They say first, an elder has to be blameless at home. He's got to be faithful to his wife, and he has to raise children who are trustworthy, who are not open to the charge of being wild and disobedient. And then he's got to be blameless in general. Not overbearing, not quick-tempered, not given to drunkenness, not violent, not pursuing dishonest gain. Those are all the things that he's not. And then what he is, he's hospitable, he loves what's good, he's self-controlled, he's upright, holy, disciplined, and he holds firmly to biblical truth as it has been taught, so that he can encourage the weak and correct the misguided. So there's 14 distinct character qualifications for an elder, a godly, wise, mature man, as listed in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 2 through 7. Same author, Apostle Paul says, now the overseer is to be above reproach, faithful to his wife, temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not given to drunkenness, not violent, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. He must manage his own family well and see that his children obey him, and he must do so in a manner worthy of full respect. If anyone doesn't know how to manage his own family, how can he take care of God's church? He must not be a recent convert, or he may become conceited and fall into the same judgment as the devil. He must also have a good reputation with outsiders so that he will not fall into disgrace and into the devil's trap. So look at this list. He goes, the elder's got to be above reproach. He's got to be blameless. He's got to be faithful to his wife. He's got to be temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not given to drunkenness, not violent but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money, manage his own family well and see that his children respect and obey him, must not be a recent convert, and must have a good reputation with outsiders. So again, here, Paul lists 14 distinct character qualifications. There are 14 in Titus and 4 that don't overlap in 1 Timothy. So there's a total, if we take both of those lists and combine them, there's 18 character qualifications. Is there a high bar for the kind of guy that sits at the city gate who's respected as an elder? Absolutely. So if Proverbs 31 is the bar for women, then we have to include Titus 1 and 1 Timothy 3 as the bar for men. So quick review. What's true about a Proverbs 31 man? He respects his wife. He treats her with full confidence. He acts like an elder. He's respected at the city gate. Third, he blesses her with his children. Read that in verse 28. Blessing tells somebody who they are. When we bless somebody, we celebrate their existence independent of their performance. But then we get to with the fourth qualification, verse 29, that says, he praises her where? In front of his children. So he blesses her for her character, but he praises her in front of his children for what she has done. He says, many women do noble things. You surpass all of them. And then the fifth hallmark of a Proverbs 31 man is that he honors her for all that her hands have done. Verse 31, somebody once said, honor is the tangible expression of respect. We honor people through words of affirmation. We honor people through gifts. We honor people through affirming what God is doing in and around and through them. So, this is just barely scratching the surface. But my hope is that when you hear somebody mention Proverbs 31 woman, you in your mind could immediately jump to the fact that there is also the expectation of a Proverbs 31 man. And that's the guy who's got full confidence in his wife. That's the guy who acts like an elder. That's a guy who blesses his wife with his children, who praises his wife in front of her children, and who honors her for all that she is and all that she's done. Guys, we don't get a pass in Proverbs 31. We're invited to aim for a really high bar as well in our conduct and in our marriages. The New Norm is produced and distributed by Winning at Home. Winning at Home is a faith-based nonprofit committed to making individuals, couples, families, and businesses stronger through counseling and coaching. For more information, visit winningathome.com. I'm your host, Steve Norman. Thanks for listening.